There's only 16,000 without power, and I know those crews are working around the clock to get power back on. In relation to the Australian Defence Force, they continue to assist, and can I say the assistance is fantastic. So at the moment they've got about 260 people deployed to Gympie, Ipswich, Lockyer, and starting in Brisbane today and tomorrow, and they have another 140 to deploy. So we thank the Australian Defence Force for their assistance, and we'll also be getting the assistance of 2 Royal. After we've finished, the Health Minister will update, of course, on tetanus if people are going about cleaning up their homes or assisting with any mud armies that are set up across the state with different local governments. But also, too, there's been a case of Japanese encephalitis. So she'll talk a little bit about that. And finally, 6 o'clock tonight, some good news, everyone. The masks can come off. But just please remember, if you're in crowded situations, please think about whether or not you use it. It's totally up to yourselves. But our numbers continue to track downwards with COVID, which is, again, excellent news. So I'll hand over to the Bureau and then the Police Commissioner, the Acting State Disaster Coordinator, and then the Deputy Premier.
This is Force 13's AU channel. This is a live media conference re the week's severe weather event.
Premier.
Coming up to 10 at midday.
So the key message from the Bureau of Meteorology today is that we are expecting to see showers and storms around the southeast, developing late in the morning and moving into the afternoon. They will not be as intense or as widespread as what we saw yesterday. It's a return to what we would typically describe as a more normal storm situation. So like I said, developing mid-morning, pushing through with possibility of being severe, but typically just those showers and storms. However, these showers and storms are falling on sodden catchments. So all of our catchments, creeks and rivers are what we call saturated, so they have no ability to take on and absorb any water. So any water that does fall from showers or storms today could lead still to flash flooding. These conditions are very favourable, and I think another key message really is that it doesn't take a severe storm for us to see some heavier impacts. So like I said, this isn't a typical situation. We've seen a whole week of flooding and our catchments are the most saturated they've been in a very long time. So just really trying to reiterate that message that although there is the possibility of some severe storms today, they don't need to be severe for us to see impacts across the southeast. So if we do see any severe storms, the phenomena that holds the severity today is really that heavier rainfall and the damaging winds. So we saw some hail yesterday in our severe storms, but that risk has reduced today, and we are focusing more on damaging winds and the possibility of heavy rainfall. So I'll go through just a quick riverine update. So as was mentioned, the Brisbane River peaked last night just above minor at 9.1. It's still very variable on the tide, so the high tide today around midday will bump that peak up a little bit more to 2.25, but we are generally seeing a decreasing trend across the Brisbane River as well as general easing across the east coast. Of note as well is Ipswich, so that's sitting at the moment between the minor and moderate level. And we have seen a bit of rain from yesterday affect that catchment, so it's not decreasing as quickly as we would have expected. There is sort of a stable, almost static, but stable sort of decrease there at Ipswich, but that is likely to start decreasing. And then also a note today, further to the west, we've now got the Condamine, Boulogne, Weir and Mooney in the flood warning as well. So some of those catchments flowing west, not flowing east, are now, we're starting to see some rises. So towns such as St George, as well as, I've lost my notes there. So St George is one of them. So I will go through now, that's pretty much the flooding summary. What we're seeing today we will expect again tomorrow, and showers and storms on the forecast for the rest of the week as well. Moving now, just a quick mention that as well as what we're seeing in the southeast, we've also got a very severe heat wave in the north of Queensland worth mentioning. So we're seeing temperatures well above average, both minimum and maximum, meaning that a lot of the towns between sort of Mackay to Cairns aren't getting any relief from that heat. So for example, Innisfail, Cairns looking to be 36 degrees today, where their March average is 30.5, so pretty significantly above average. And we've also seen records fall for March. So yesterday, Emerald got to 42.1 degrees, which broke their March record. Mackay Airport on the Central Coast, 34.7, also breaking a record. And then we also had some minimum records broken, not this morning, but the previous night. Of note, Townsville Airport, 28 degrees minimum. So that was also a March record broken. And that's it for the Bureau today. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. And as the Premier has touched on, sadly, there has now been 10 deaths in total as a result of this weather event in Queensland. A body of a 53-year-old man was found under a wharf last night at Port of Brisbane. He was reported missing on Monday. We are continuing with our anti-looting operation, Operation Uniform Nash, and as I have mentioned a number of times, this is really a preventative approach, a proactive approach, patrolling those areas that are vulnerable where people have not returned either to their homes or businesses yet. The officers are not only on the ground, but obviously are on the water as well as polair above. What we have found since we commenced this operation on the 1st of the 3rd, we have arrested 7 people for looting offences for 18 related incidents. I just want to touch on that the actual maximum imprisonment for this is twice that under normal circumstances because it is a disaster. So those stealing can be charged and liable to a maximum of 10 years imprisonment. So it is considered a lot more serious because those people are in a vulnerable situation because of the disaster. Obviously, the roads are starting to build up with congestion in the southeast. The roads are heavily damaged, and I ask that people please be very, very careful and patient out on the roads. Any rain will cause flash flooding, and that is one of our most serious issues when we're out in the roads. All of these deaths are flood related. Some completely unexpected where water has risen very, very quickly in areas that we're not used to. So over the next few days, as the showers and storms and rain continues, please be aware of that flash flooding. Be aware of your circumstances. Go to the Bureau website and just look after each other, obey the rules, and please be patient. Thank you. No, it's not. It's a different person. So the person that fell off the vessel was reported missing a couple of days earlier. So this is in addition to that. So we still have one person outstanding. And how did they go missing? Was their car washed away? No, we understand he was on a tinny in the river. Thank you.
Deputy Commissioner.
Thank you, Premier. Good morning. We continue to coordinate our operations across this event. As the Premier indicated, we still have 266 people in our evacuation centres. Despite the weather clearing and just having thunderstorms, we've still got a number of resupply issues to isolated communities from Gympie, Logan, Ipswich area. And now that we're starting to just lean forward into the western areas around Roma, where we're seeing some of the water moving that way and looking at the preparation for our resupply issues there. We're still working very well with the Australian Defence Force. We're seeing more troops assisting with the clean-up effort there, and we expect that to continue over the next few days and an increase particularly around the Brisbane and Logan area. Yesterday we saw the ADF move into the Ipswich, Somerset, Lockyer Valley area, which was very beneficial to us. As the Bureau pointed out, We are still expecting showers and some thunderstorms this afternoon, so we can expect, if we do get heavy falls in isolated areas, we can still expect our creeks and our riverines to rise. So this morning while you're out cleaning up, my message is, can you please really keep an eye on the BOM website, keep an eye on the weather, and the roads that may have been open this morning or the areas that may have been out of water this morning, if we do get those heavy storms in isolated areas, we can see that water rapidly rise. So please, while it's good to get out there and clean up today, and it's great to see that happening, we still need just to be aware of our surroundings and the creeks and rivers. So thank you. Thank you.
Deputy Premier.
As you heard from the Premier, thousands of Queenslanders are already benefiting from the initial round of grants that were targeted to individuals and families. Today we are able to outline the next phase of grants targeting small businesses and organisations. The package itself was finalised yesterday, and the Premier wrote to the Prime Minister asking for his endorsement. These grants are 50-50 funded between the state and the Commonwealth. The package itself that we have asked for endorsement from the Commonwealth for is a $559 million assistance package targeting small businesses, primary producers, sporting organisations and supporting local government with their immediate response. So more than $500 million directed at supporting small businesses and organisations. Eligible small businesses and not-for-profit organisations will be eligible for up to $50,000 in grant funding. We anticipate 6,100 such organisations may be eligible for the grants, so we have allocated $257 million in business support. We know businesses and organisations out there affected by this disaster are struggling, and we want them to know that we will be there to support them and to support them quickly. To give you some sense of scale, this is the biggest small business support package post-disaster since 2011, so a very significant investment there. Primary producers affected by this disaster will be eligible for grants of up to $75,000, including a
It's Force 13's Australian Oceania Channel. It's 1200 hours here in Queensland, 1300 hours daylight saving time. Meteorology, New South Wales and Queensland continue to update the various warnings via their warning page. There's no severe thunderstorm warnings current for Queensland, but extremely high temperatures north of Mackay. Not sure how long we'll stay on air. The bulk of the activity is to the east of Cape Morton, the Gold Coast, Morton Islands, Stradbroke Islands, but the weather system is likely to linger across the weekend, and the rainfall has eased off a little bit, the BUA's outlook, but the system, it could be with us for another week. This time last week, it was all unfolding. So hazardous surf warning in place for the Fraser Island Coast, Sunshine Coast and Gold Coast waters, and the same for Saturday. BUA Meteorology will update the flood watch hopefully within the next 13 minutes. Renewed river and minor to major flooding possible across the floodwatch area over the next few days. Localised flash flooding is a risk for the next 24 to 48 hours. The trough has moved across southeast Queensland, expected to linger in the region for the next few days. Showers and thunderstorms occurred during the region during Thursday morning and are likely to continue over the next few days. I'm just waiting for the BUA to update. And on the screen is a live view from my Brisbane HQ.
Let's catch up with David Gillespie.